Back in the summer of 1992 when I first moved to New York, one of my best friends, Tobias, from childhood, invited me to walk across the Brooklyn Bridge to a party in Brooklyn. He had just finished college at NYU and really understood how to get around New York. Anyway, we made our way from Manhattan over to Brooklyn and then ended up at this great Sailor's Bar in Red Hook. I'll never forget there was this guy there that was talking to me about the space-time continuum and that was where God resided. He had his wild-eyed look to him. I realized he was on some sort of trip, but I enjoyed his free associative banter. Tobias and I had a couple of drinks and then decided to walk back along the Brooklyn Bridge. Now mind you, this was way before terrorism had become a thing to reckon with in NYC. Anyway, as we began the ascent on the pedestrian bridge, we decided to walk along the construction path. This is a path for the workers who maintain the bridge to walk up the suspension railings. So we proceeded to walk up the bridge. And like cats, we didn't really think very much of it until we got to the top of the Brooklyn Bridge. It was there that Tobias and I looked at each other and looked around at the incredible vista, and we could see the Statue of Liberty, the Empire State Building, and of course the Twin Towers and the rest of the incredible skyline that made up New York, and we realized that we needed to get down at some point. And getting down, while not actually so difficult on some level, involved us actually having to walk down, and we realized how many hundreds of feet up we were. We did not have safety harnesses, but we did have our hands and feet, which felt less useful than normal. And somehow those items, those tools that we were very familiar with being part of our bodies, did not seem sufficient. We walked slowly, somewhat steadily, and carefully. But there were a lot of deep breaths. And as we made our way down to the bottom of the bridge level, we saw an opening which led to a construction underpass underneath the belly of the bridge. Before we knew it, we were literally walking under the bridge with a 2-foot span with nothing between us and the East River 300 feet down. It actually felt safer than walking up the suspension bridge because there was airline cable on both sides that made it almost impossible to fall out. But we felt completely weightless, almost airborne because of the updraft that occurred due to the aerodynamic quality of the bridge, causing us to sway to and fro. When we made it back to bridge level, the last wild aspect of the story took shape. As we climbed back up, we looked over and suddenly, out of nowhere, the guy that we had seen at the bar who was tripping on shrooms or LSD was looking at us wild-eyed, skipping on girders that had nothing but traffic 20 feet below them. The girders could have not been more than 6 inches wide, and he was running on them as if he could not fall. And somehow he didn't. And Tobias and I looked at each other, ourselves wild-eyed now at this crazy night. We did not know what would have happened when we first set foot on that bridge.